And if I really lose it, then I get it right back. And these niggas stay clueless cause I'm really like that. Do they love me though? But do they really love me though? I would touch the sky like a birdie though. So I just want to tell a little story today. About how I met Solitude, right? So to begin the story, right? So you think about what is solitude, right? And being on your own and being self-reliant and being dependent on oneself and being, which is AKA independent. But if you think about it, solitude, like what it really means to be alone, right? So I'm gonna tell a little narration of a story, right? It's a little story with the moral at the end. And basically, you know what I'm saying? Solitude let me in, right? It let me in. It's showing me it's space, you know, the space that solitude reside in. And so I come into solitude space, right? And it's a real pretty looking space, you know. It's got a lot of little knickknacks, you know. It got a lot of good energy in the space, you know. It feels very home, you know, homely. I feel very invited and welcomed into solitude space. And a lot of nice pretty things in the space, you know what I'm saying? And you think about visualize it, you know what I'm saying? Use your brain power to visualize it. We got solitude space, right? We're in the space of solitude. And it just looks like a good place, you know what I'm saying? It's a good place to be in. And the first thing I do when I get inside is I'm helping out putting a clock, right? It's a clock on the wall and it's not plugged in. So what time is it, right? I don't know what time it is in solitude space. And so we had to get the clock on, right? What time is it? It's our time. So think about it. It's our time. But I get in and I'm trying to put the clock in, right? The clock don't gotta the clock it's an electric clock. It's not powered. I gotta get the power to the clock. That's the number one thing with maintenance. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure it's power getting to your electronics. If it's not working, or make sure it's plugged in. But that's another story for another day. So I'm trying to get the clock plugged in. It's gonna take about, you know, let's say it take about an hour. I don't know what time it is. So we gotta get the clock plugged in. What time is it? And remember, I'm in solitude space. Finally get the clock plugged in. And then I'm like, well, you know what, solitude, you know, I'm here for another reason. I didn't come here to put the clock on, you know? And it's telling me, solitude's telling me everything about you know, how self-reliant it is, you know, how it's raised its own children, how successful it is, you know, telling me the backstory, showing me all the photos, what it means to be self-reliant, you know, self-dependent, all the things that solitude could do for you, you know. It's showing me everything. It's saying, look, I got a nice, beautiful, blessed life, you know. Solitude is doing really good for itself, you know. And I'm in the presence of solitude, right? And I feel the blessings. I'm like, wow, you know what I'm saying? This is really nice. This is really nice what solitude could do, you know, so successful, you know. It's like an authority behind solitude, you know. Solitude got two children and let's say both the children, you know, is authority. It's like police officers, you know what I'm saying? They carry a lot of weight, you know, they're heavy in the spirit. It's weight. And but then solitude, you know what I'm saying, it also needs some type of care, you know what I'm saying? There's like a care that you got to take care, you know? What are you taking care of when you're in solitude? You're taking care of yourself, but you also taking care of other things when you're in solitude because you got responsibilities. And when you have solitude, even though you don't want to take, you know what I'm saying, you still have responsibilities where you have to take care of other things or other people. So, you know, it has, let's say there's a helper, right? Solitude has a helper. And then I get a call from the helper. You know, the helper's telling me like, whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing here with solitude? Don't you understand? Solitude has to be alone. You know, solitude has to be alone. What are you doing there with him? And I said, whoa, listen. If you need me to go, I'll go. I'll go right now because solitude has to be alone, you know? And Solitude told me, you know, don't be too afraid. Don't be too afraid, you know? We even get a phone call. He said, you know, we should just stay. And the helper said, okay, well, if you're just gonna stay, you know, that's okay, that's cool. And then we get a phone call from the authority, you know, we get the from the authority said, listen, don't let nobody in the house. Don't let nobody in the house. Solitude needs to be alone. Solitude, listen, it's telling us, like, listen, don't let nobody in the house. Solitude looking at me like, don't say a thing. Don't say a thing. I'm like, whoa, hold on. I might get out of here. I might have to get out of here because if the authority is going to come down on me for being in Solitude's presence, maybe I got to take the responsibility and get up on out of there, you know? So Solitude tells me, listen, don't be afraid, you know? Do not be afraid. It's okay. You could be here with me. It's still showing me all the knickknacks in the house, you know? It's still giving me a really good welcoming feeling. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna sit, I'm gonna relax, I'm gonna crack open a drink, you know? I'm gonna take the presence, you know what I'm saying? The pleasure is mine. So, you know, we hanging out, and I'm hanging out with Solitude, and we having a good old time. I don't know how long I've been in the presence, you know? I'm having a great time. We get another phone call from Solitude's helper, you know? And say, listen, what are you still doing there? You know, you've been there too long. You need to get up out of there. You know, we already had this conversation. I'm like, whoa, well, you know what? They said, don't make me have to call the authorities on you. I'm like, whoa, I'm gonna have to get out. I'm grabbing my stuff. Listen, I'll get up on out of here. And I'm looking at Solitude. Listen, I need to get up on out of here. They said, whoa, nah, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Stay here. Don't worry about it. So, you know what I'm saying? It's the push and pull, you know, in the spirit. The push and pull. I'm like, well, you know what? Solitude tell me be here. So I'm going to be here and I'm going to be in Solitude presence. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to do how, you know what I'm saying? This little tug of war game, we could do it. I'm not trying to do it, but we could do it. Don't be afraid of the tug and war because at the end of the day, you already won that war. You know what I'm saying? It's all. I'm in Solitude presence. I'm not doing anything wrong, and everything is cool. So we just let it slide. You know, we say, hey, you know what? You can finish your drink. I'm gonna finish my drink. We're gonna relax. We're gonna have a good old time. So I'm finishing my drink. You know, I'm still kicking it with Solitude. We get another phone call from the, you know what I'm saying, from Solitude responsibilities, the authority. Like, don't let nobody in. Don't let nobody in. Who's in there? You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to get up on out of there, to be honest. I'm ready to get up on out of there. And I'm like, you know what? I might have to finish my drink right now because maybe it's time to go. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's time to go from Solitude's presence. And before I go, Solitude starts showing me, you know what I'm saying, showing me their space, you know, showing me everything in the space, all the little knickknacks, you know, the stories behind the different memories, everything that Solitude got going on, how self-reliant it is, you know, how I had such a great time and a great life. And you know, I really love Solitude. I really feel joyful that I was allowed into that presence of Solitude, you know, and I accepted the Solitude and I welcomed it in, and I seen, you know, my reflection in it. And before I go, you know, Solitude looks at me. I'm like, wow, you know, I really love you, Solitude. Thank you for doing this for me. You know, I feel really blessed here. And Solitude says, well, you know what? Maybe, you know, I guess I'm just a crazy old lady, you know. I'm just a crazy old lady, and I need to be stuck here all by myself, right? Solitude. And I just feel bad, you know, because I feel like that was the moral of the story. Like, Solitude, you know, does everything it needs to do and taking care about all of its responsibilities, and it's doing very well for itself. But at the end of the day, that's like it's cursing its blessing, because it's just so self-reliant. It's always alone, and it's not that it wants to be alone, but it's not that it always needs somebody's presence, but it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. At the end of the day, you don't want to be stuck in a self-fulfilling prophecy like that. You know, you want to be self-reliant. You want to be self-dependent. Independent is really the better word to say. And you don't want to have to live like that for the rest of your life, though, because at the end of the day, you know, community is really important. And having those relationships with different aspects of your life and what direction your life is going is going to call for different aspects. So when you think you could do everything by yourself and you know you're in the right, you got the right idea, you got the right nature, it's really important to reflect and to know, you know, is to know what you're bringing into your space, you know? Because you could be self-dependent, but that doesn't mean you can't welcome in good things into your space, you know? So what do you think, man? Let me know, like, you know, what do you think about self-dependency, you know, being self-reliant, being independent? Is it something that we need to be careful about, you know what I'm saying? Always welcome the presence of the Lord into that, no matter what. That's what I would say. That's really the moral of the story. Welcome the presence of the Lord into your self-reliancy and your self-dependency, because you can always cast your anxieties and your cares onto the Lord. And that's what I'm really spending the time to talk about right now. That's really the real moral of the story, and it's a true story. So it's not an anagram, or that's not even the right word, but it's not a metaphor or none of that. It's a true story. So let me know, y'all, what y'all think.